Great day, everyone! This is Teacher Jara from EnglishReadingBasic1. Today, we will deal with a preview of another fun and interesting English passage. Join me as we study the book English Reading Basic 1. Let's now start! Today, we will tackle Unit 9. And this article is about crater. Let's learn more about this word. So let's get started. But first, I will read this article slowly so you can get the correct pronunciation of the words. And after that, you can join me as I read it for the second time. So listen carefully. I will start now. A crater is a big hole in the ground. Volcanic activity can make craters. After a volcano erupts, we see a huge hole on the top of the volcano. If there is no volcanic activity for a long time, snow and rainfall stays inside the hole. Then, the hole becomes a huge lake. It is called a crater lake. Diamond Lake in Oregon, USA is an example of a crater lake. Is there a crater lake in your country? Have you seen any crater lakes before? Okay, so let's read this article for the second time. But this time, we will read it in a faster pace. Be ready now. Let's begin. A crater is a big hole in the ground. Volcanic activity can make craters. After a volcano erupts, we see a huge hole on the top of the volcano. If there is no volcanic activity for a long time, snow and rainfall stays inside the hole. Then the hole becomes a huge lake. It is called a crater lake. Diamond Lake in Oregon, USA is an example of a crater lake. Is there a crater lake in your country? Have you seen any crater lakes before? Okay, so I hope you got all the words correctly. And if you have time, you can go back to this article and enhance your reading ability. Now, let's answer some activities related to this topic. For our first activity, let's have select true or false. Here, you need to identify which sentence is true and which one is false. So let's have it now. For number 1, the USA doesn't have any crater lakes. Is it true or false? This sentence is false. So let's check what word made it false. Here is a sentence that will support our answer for number 1. Diamond Lake in Oregon, USA is an example of a crater lake. So it means USA has crater lakes, right? And one example is Diamond Lake in Oregon. Now let's go to number 2. For number 2, volcanic activity can't make craters. So, is this sentence true or false? You got it right. This sentence is false. So let's go back to the passage and see why it is false. Let's read the sentence. Volcanic activity can make craters. So The wrong word in sentence number 2 is can't, because it can make craters, right? Okay, now let's go to number 3. Diamond Lake is a crater lake. So what do you think is the answer? Good. This sentence is true. So let's go back to the story or passage to see why this sentence is true. Here it is. Diamond Lake in Oregon, USA is an example of a crater lake. So Diamond Lake is a crater lake. So now let's add 8 more words in our vocabulary. Let's have our word box. It contains 8 words that will help you enhance your vocabulary. Here you can find the pronunciation of the word and also its Korean meaning. So, let's have it now. Please repeat after me. Crater, hole, activity, volcano, erupt, rainfall, crater lake, and the last one, example. So if you have time, you can make sentences using these words. And now, let's have our last activity. We have vocabulary checkup. Let's check the level of your understanding about the passage. Here you need to complete 4 sentences in order to have the complete thought. You can use the words in the word box. So let's have number 1. How big is the blank? What do you think is the missing word? You got it right. The correct answer is crater. How big is the crater? Now let's proceed to number 2. I will show you one blank. So what do you think is the right word for this sentence? Great! The answer is example. Now let's move on to number 3. The science project is about blank. So what do you think is the correct answer? The right answer is volcano. The science project is about volcanoes. And now, let's have our last number. Fill in the blank. There is a big blank in the ground. So it's easy. I know you can do it. The missing word is hole. There is a big hole in the ground. So I hope you got all the correct answers for this activity. This is the end of our lesson for today. I hope you learned a lot. Again, this is Teacher Jera saying study hard and do good. See you in our next video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.